Good afternoon, Professor. We are the Willing Learners group and we are going to talk about the principle number 2, which title is Instruction Needs to Ensure that Learners Focus Predominantly on Meaning. But first of all, we would like to start explaining a term that we found in this principle, which is meaning focus. It was developed on the basis of communicative approaches, and in fact, it was a reaction to traditional rule based, grammar bound teaching methods. Its goal is exposing learners to rich input of the target language through context that causes incidental acquisition of it. As a result, learners will apply a natural order that native speakers of a language follow during the time they acquire it. In this principle, we found two types of meaning. The first one is the semantic meaning, and the second one is the pragmatic meaning. The first one is the study of the knowledge encoded in the vocabulary of the language and in its patterns for building elaborate construction and meanings. In other words, semantic meaning is the meaning of words and grammatical structures. On the other hand, we have the pragmatic meaning, which is the interaction of semantic knowledge with our knowledge of the word to produce meaningful communication in context of use. In other words, pragmatic meaning is the meaningful language that is used for real communication. In this principle, we found tips and activities for applying pragmatics in the classroom. The first activity is called sentences frames. These are simple sentences that have words missing where the students will fill to complete the sentence in order to communicate their idea. It can be used to help teach the pragmatics of English language, like how to greet others, request basic needs, or communicate feelings. The activity number 2 is called What Does It Look Like? What Does It Sound Like? Use these types of questions to guide discussion about classroom rules and routines. In this process, the teacher is assessing what students know about these activities. The activity number 3 it's called the speech act of complaining. Speech acts are the most basic units of communication, with each speech act accomplishing a different communicative function. Speech acts can be broken down into smaller components or strategies that speakers use to accomplish the communicative function. In this principle says that Murphy and New, 1996, identified four strategies for this activity. So the first strategy is the initiation and explanation of purpose. The second one is a complaint. The third one is a justification. And the fourth one, the last one, is a request. So a student could, in order to use this kind of activity, a student could say, in the first strategy, excuse me, professor, but I wanted to talk to you about my grade. In the second strategy, the student will say, my grade's too low. That is the complaint. In the third strategy, I come to every class and I studied hard. I just didn't do well on one test. That is the justification. And in the last strategy, the student could say, can I do an extra credit assignment to improve my grade? So this is their request. These are the strategies for this activity. We also found activities for applying semantics in the classroom. So the first activity is called lexical fields. Use the concept of lexical fields to help to build vocabulary by grouping words and teaching relationships between words. It helps to build cognitive structures that can result in significant vocabulary development and building a student's word bank. The second activity for applying semantic in the classroom is called cognates. Cognates are words that are spelled similarly between two languages and have similar meanings. It can be a useful tool, especially when teaching academic vocabulary for cognates that exist in their native language. However, be wary of false cognates, words that are similar but have significantly different meaning. And the third activity is prior knowledge. This strategy can help your students realize how much they already know about semantics, even if they've never heard the term before. Perhaps the best way to approach semantics, at least initially, is to rely on the knowledge your students already possess. So, we have for this activity, the activity number 3, prior knowledge, 3 types of questions. The first one, what English words have more than one meaning? As an example, lives. This word can be the plural of live or mean exceeding a place. The second question could be, what English words sound the same but have different meanings? As an example, 8, which is the number, and 8, which is the past tense of the verb eat. Red, which is a color, and red, which is the past tense of the verb read. The other question could be, what English words are spelled the same but pronounced differently depending on uses? So we have some examples. As an example, there is a strong wind today. Oh, please wind the clock to the correct time. However, in advocating this principle, I do not wish to suggest that instruction needs to be directed exclusively at providing learners with opportunities to create pragmatic meaning. Only that, to be effective, instruction must include such opportunities, and that ideally, over an entire curriculum, they should be predominant. Thank you so much for watching.